What is up, you guys? Sam Dog, the infamous 253, coming at you guys with Dallas Stewart on the speakerphone. Dallas, how you doing?
Doing pretty good.
Yeah, before we do the game picks, we just want to go over our little recap last night of the Seahawks 27-19 win over the Houston Texans. And yeah, I mean, got off to a good start. Granted, we didn't score the opening possession, but defense was sure getting after it. That was for sure.
Yeah, they really came out to play.
3 sacks on C.J. Stroud, the first one being from Uchenna Nwosu, which should have been a safety, to be honest. There were two plays in that game where the refs pretty much took two safeties off the board for us, which if we had those two safeties, the real final score, honestly, should have been 31-19.
Maybe 34-19 because
The
of
field
the
goal got
blocked
blocked.
field goal.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of things we got to get cleaned up, though. But thankfully, I think we got into the bye week at the right time because 5-2 at the bye week, I'll take it. I mean, but one of the negatives I would say definitely was the 4 turnovers, which usually, I mean, thankfully that really, I mean, it didn't really come back to bite. But usually, if you turn the ball over 4 times, you usually lose. The first one being that dumb play call by Clint Kubiak where Cooper Kupp was throwing it. He threw the interception. Then
Yeah.
obviously the Will Anderson strip sack, and he recovered it in the end zone for the touchdown that kind of got Houston back in the game later before we got the field goal to make it pretty much a 20 to 12 game for the most part until we got the second Zach Charbonnet touchdown. Then there was the unfortunate Elijah Arroyo fumble, and then that one bad throw by Darnold, which was the interception where the brawl broke out.
Yeah, and Houston didn't capitalize on the 4 turnovers. The only turnover they capitalized on was the fumble in the end zone.
And the Cooper Kupp intersection, which they got a field goal off of it.
Oh, to make it 14-6.
Yeah, to make it 14 to
So
6.
they get 10 points, I guess, off 4 turnovers. I mean, we were giving them every chance.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, though. I mean, Jackson Smith and Jigba, though, still had a heck of a game, man. Against Texans were ranked the best defense in the league, and Jackson Smith and Jigba had kind of a Michael Jordan last dance moment where saying, okay, you guys think they're the best defense in the league? Well, I'm going to show you that they're not. JSN carved them up. 8 catches for 123 yards and a touchdown, which he did the old Jimmy Graham celebration where he dunked it over the goalpost and got flagged for it, which it was funny that the Texans decided to enforce it on the try, which Myers still ended up making the kick.
Yeah, that was a big extra point that he made, and I believe after the Sam Darnold interception, we held him on 4th and goal.
Yeah, with the turnover on downs, which
to keep it at 15.
And it's crazy. During the pregame, I was saying, with Houston's biggest strength being their defense, but the biggest weakness of the Houston Texans truly was the offensive line. And it was evident with how we were able to shut down the run and how much pressure we were putting on C.J. Stroud.
Yeah, C.J. Stroud, he was under constant pressure the whole night, and they scored that touchdown with like 2:04 left, but they only had one timeout left, and they made the mistake of kicking it in the end zone, and we took time off the clock. If they had just kicked it through the back of the end zone, we would have had to run a play before the 2-minute warning, and that would have acted as a timeout for them.
Pretty much, and then the thank goodness part was we had the 3 Zach Charbonnet runs to pretty much seal it, and then on the 3rd down one, Houston gets called for like a personal foul, which kind of
that sealed it.
Kind of like the Jacksonville game with the leverage call when we were originally going to kick a field goal to get an 11-point game when we got held to that 4th down, but then Jacksonville got the leverage penalty called on them, which gave us a fresh set of downs to take a knee on it because they were out of timeouts. So it was just like...
All I'm going to say is we better clean it up, because if we play like that against a division opponent, mainly the Rams or the 49ers, it won't even be close. the Houston just couldn't take advantage of all of our turnovers.
Exactly, but I also
This
say
was
this.
a pretty ugly win, if we're being honest.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, the fact that we still did it without Witherspoon and Julian Love still says a lot. And, thank God we're on the bye week and we're going to be getting Robbie Oots off of the IR after that. And we should have Devin Witherspoon and Julian Love back for our Sunday night game against the Washington Commanders because that's our next game. And I'll be honest, with the way the Commanders are looking, I'm kind of starting to feel good about that Sunday night game.
Yeah, I'm starting to, because their defense is not looking good right now.
Yeah, but anyway, other than that, another positive thing against that number one defense of the Texans, we rushed for 118 rushing yards if you combine both of Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker's rushing yards. The fact that we got over 100 rush yards against them also speaks a lot.
And it was nice to get a home win and get to 2-2 at home on a pretty tough Seattle sports day.
Oh yeah, it was. I mean, that's definitely sucked. They were showing the Mariners game earlier on. That was definitely sucks. It was sad about the Mariners losing, which they had a heck of a season.
The Seahawks win was kind of bittersweet, to be honest.
Yeah, it really was. But we'll take it anyway. 5-2, and obviously us, the Rams and the Cardinals are on the bye week now. 49ers have to play the Texans next, so yeah, we'll talk about that in the game picks coming up in a little bit. But anyway, shout out to Loyal to Houston who gave me a shout out on his game recap and was a presence on my player interaction stream during pregame and at the end of the game. So shout out Loyal to Houston.
Three one-score wins.
Yeah,
really, we've only had two. We really only had two convincing wins.
Pittsburgh and New Orleans. Yeah. Really should have been more convincing.
It looked early on when we got up 14-0, we were just going to cruise.
Yeah. But, yep, let's get it cleaned up. But, hey, I think we hit the bye week at the right time. That's for sure. Anyway, we'll catch you on the game picks in a little bit. And if you ain't with it, you ain't infamous. As always, go Seahawks.